Weather affects everything, from how we feel to how we live. But what's really going on above us? Each week on Atmospheric Insight, we dig deeper into the science of weather and the stories it shapes. This is Atmospheric Insight, where science meets the sky.
We're back. Thank you for joining us. I'm meteorologist Adam Epstein.
I'm meteorologist Riley O'Connor.
Riley, great to see you again.
Yeah.
Feels like it's been a minute since we've done this together.
It has been.
Yeah, but
Vacations come up, days
It's-
off, that sort of thing.
yeah, it's summer.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to get outside, you want to take some time off from work, enjoy.
Yeah.
Got your kids. And we've got some heat to talk about. So that is the hot topic of atmospheric impact in this episode of Atmospheric Insight. So I was curious, looking back at the recent weather that we've had, what's the hottest temperature we've had each year? Because so far this year, we're only up to 102 degrees. And that's,
Not bad,
not bad at all.
right?
Yeah, that's pretty fine. If it stayed this way, we'd be super happy because that would be the coolest, highest temperature we've had in the past 10 years. Last year, Mother Nature was pretty friendly to us too.
Mhm.
We only got up to 103 degrees, making up for 2024,
Yeah.
110. It doesn't stop there. Bradley, you weren't here for this. I wish you were, so we could commiserate together.
Yeah.
In 2022, the high temperature, hottest, 114 degrees.
Take me back to that day, Adam.
Ugh,
I
man.
know you have to remember it.
I do remember it. I remember it very vividly. It's special because, yeah, that's hot, but that's also the second hottest temperature ever on record in Sacramento. And the hottest ever happened, I believe, in like 1961. And this was at a different weather station that always ran hotter. And the National Weather Service merged these weather station records. So they're one data set now. So that was 115, I think, maybe with 116.
Okay.
But that one is kind of like up for debate, right?
Okay.
We don't really know how accurate it was.
Mhm.
So feeling 114, yeah, for most people living in Sacramento right now, it's the hottest it's ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 114, 116. Yeah.
Right? Is there
Right.
much of a difference?
No.
No, you're like baking when you step outside anyway.
I'm trying to think does the air conditioner even just work? And I mean, not work, but does it even really help in the car or even at home? Does it just run
Yeah,
constantly?
right. I mean, it's a problem for power, right? For
Yeah.
adjusting for the grids because everyone wants to run their air conditioning when it gets that hot.
Yep.
Yeah, it works. Like you're asked like not to go down to 65 in your
Mhm.
house, right? But outside, doesn't matter if you're in the shade or the sun, it is just like you're in an oven.
Mhm.
And this was like during Sac Republic season. I don't remember if it was on that day. It was around that time when it was very hot. I was at a Sac Republic soccer game, and me and people were like sweating bullets. Like
Yeah.
it was insane. Like it was too hot.
Do you know, do they have a threshold where say, okay, it's going to reach 117? I mean, would they cancel the games?
That's
I
what I was thinking. And I don't think they cancel, but they have hydration breaks. I think
Okay.
that's the difference. There's a threshold they meet for that. So the average hottest temperature that we get to in Sacramento each summer is 107 degrees. If we get anything below that, we can consider that a success.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you can expect, right? Around 107. Good news is our temperature probability for the end of June and the start of July is actually cooler than
Yeah.
normal in the West. Look at
Yeah.
that.
I know. Kind of interesting to see that, even looking at the upper level system's going to try to pull through this weekend. I mean, temperatures are even up at the Pacific Northwest are going to be like in the 60s.
Right. Yeah. Insanely cool because of a low that we'll talk about in a second, too. That's part of this whole setup. But while we cool down, our friends across the country heat up
Mhm.
and they get the heat with the humidity. So it feels even worse. You're no strangers to that. I mean, Minneapolis, right?
Yeah.
In Minnesota,
Yeah.
I get some extreme humidity, right?
Yeah, it does. And I have to say, when you go south, like my family right now is in Indiana. I went to school at Purdue. Indiana is like so much worse in the way of humidity,
Mhm.
just because of it's closer to the Gulf of Mexico, right? But the thing is you can't even. It's like when you walk outside, you're just drenched immediately.
No, it's insane. It's like soupy air. It's
Mhm.
like you can wear it. Air you can wear, right? That's a phrase
Yeah.
people say. And another thing that I was really interested, I learned about it a year or two ago, is corn sweat. Are you
Mhm.
familiar with this?
You mean when it evaporates?
Yeah,
Yes. Yep. Yep.
evapotranspiration from all of the corn
Yep.
plants, right? And that makes the air even more humid.
Yep.
It's like
Well, working in Iowa, that was
yeah,
a big
right.
term that we talked about a lot because of that reason, and you definitely feel the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brutal stuff. All right, so let's talk about that low, how it's going to bring some cooler air into the Pacific Northwest. And this is the short-term concern I have for us here in California. We get sandwiched in between that low and the high to our
Yeah.
west, and that creates a strong pressure gradient. And around highs, winds spin clockwise and outward. And then you follow the wind streams around the low, it's counterclockwise and inward. So right in the middle, we get north winds. That's bad news for us this
Yeah.
time of the year. That means fire weather.
Yeah, definitely. And gonna be have to watch that closely. I mean, even even though when these happen too, you at least we can see it days out, right? And start
Yeah.
trying to prepare for it. But it was interesting. I was talking to one of our producers and I was, we were talking about fire threat. And he mentioned a lot of people will you take trailers up to the lake. Well, sometimes the chains create sparks.
Yes, absolutely. Right. I've warned people about dragging parts in their car,
Yeah.
starting sparks, right? And that could start a fire. And I've never personally had to do that because I don't tow anything. I don't have
Yeah.
a truck or anything like that. So I don't really know what I was talking about until I seen it on the road, a car in front of me. And there's a little chain that's dragging. And every time it whips the ground, spark shows up. All it takes is one of those sparks to jump off the road into a field. Fire
And
starts.
there it is.
Yeah, right. There it is. All right. So for this week's Ask Adam, we are officially in summer. It's the summer solstice a few days ago. So it's the time of the year where meteorologists show their stripes and want to explain exactly what that is. This image right here tells the story of our planet better than almost any other graphic in climate science. No jargon, no physics, just colors. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's called Show Your Stripes by climate scientist Ed Hawkins. Every stripe represents the average temperature for an entire year for a place. Blue is cooler than average, red is warmer. Decades of blue have faded into decades of deepening red. And that's a trend. And it might be the clearest one there is in climate. You might have seen this before. Meteorologists around the world are showing their stripes on summer solstice, the time of year where a warming planet hits closest to home. So why is this happening? Let's go over the facts. Burning coal, oil, and gas release carbon dioxide into our atmosphere. Fact. Carbon dioxide traps heat in our atmosphere. Fact. The planet has warmed about 1.5 degrees Celsius since the Industrial Revolution. Fact. That pace is accelerating. Sadly, fact. That extra heat means longer wildfire seasons, more intense heat waves, and a less reliable water supply here in California. I'm not blaming you for this, and I'm not even asking you to solve this alone. Just being aware and talking about it, that helps. Support clean energy. Vote with climate in mind. Spread awareness like this graphic does. One stripe, one conversation at a time. Riley, you're familiar with these stripes,
Yep,
right? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, we see them in the meteorological community every year,
Yeah.
right? Everyone shows up for it.
And it's alarming when you look at it.
It is. It's a trend that's very clear, right?
Mhm.
And that's why Ed Hawkins is so revered for the job he did,
Yeah.
right? It's something that everyone can see and immediately
Yep.
digest and understand the trend of.
I'm trying to think real quick. When did we really start showing those? How many
I
years do you remember?
I don't remember exactly when.
Okay.
No, but
Just on the top of my head.
uh, yeah, I can't say. I don't
Okay.
know. I want to say like at least 10 years, but
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
All right, Riley, what do we have coming up for you?
Heat safety with animals.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right back in 2 minutes.
Welcome back. Well, we know it's hot and we got to take care of our pets and pet safety. I talked with someone and we talked about, in depth about how to take precaution with this. Thanks for joining us today on Atmospheric Insight. Today I have Brittany Peterson, PIO for Bradshaw Animal Shelter. Brittany, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Want to jump in and talk about animals and the heat. Lately, it's been really hot. We're hitting the upper 90s and the triple digits. And as those temperatures are continuing to stay high, especially during the summer months, let's talk about the dangers of what animals face. What are some of the heat-related dangers that animals, dogs, cats, or even other animals will have during this heat?
Yeah, so some of the biggest dangers are heat exhaustion, heat stroke, dehydration, burnt paw pads. Pets can overheat much faster than people, and especially younger pets or senior pets and breeds with short noses like bulldogs or pugs are really sensitive to the heat.
Let's dive in a little bit more with that. You mentioned hydration. You want to keep the dogs hydrated. Um, what are some of the signs that you can see with the animals, especially when, I guess, if you're not familiar, how do you know that they're having heat-related illnesses?
Yeah, so it's important to watch for excessive panting or heavy drooling, vomiting, If you notice your dog's getting weak or they have bright red gums, troubles walking, collapsing, any of those signs are heat-related illnesses. So if you notice any of them, move your pet to a cooler place immediately and contact your vet right away because heat stroke could be it is an emergency.
And I know many people want to get their dogs out and they want to exercise and they want to go to dog parks, for example, or maybe just out on the beach. And you mentioned about their pads, right? How do you know when the pavement is too hot and what are some of the dangers that their paws can have?
Yeah, so pavement can get much hotter than the air temperatures. So on a 90-degree day, the asphalt can get hot enough to burn a dog's paws. A good rule of thumb is if it's too hot for your hand, it's too hot for your dog's paws.
So it's simple as just going outside and just testing the pavement and seeing what if you're walking your dog,
Mhm.
how would you notice that they're hurting? Is it would they lift their legs differently? Do they walk differently?
Yeah, every dog's different, but oftentimes you'll see them lifting their legs or trying to like lay on their back to get some kind of relief from their paws. Moving to the shade or trying to find different places to stand. You'll be able to watch your dog's behavior and it'll look different than a normal walk.
If you are choosing to walk on hot days, what are the how long should you go? Should you set a limit? Say, I'm going to walk, I'm going to get some steps in today. Everybody's wanting to get their steps in, and depending on how long it takes, are there limits? How long should you walk a dog?
Yeah, well, first of all, planning activities in the early mornings or the evenings when temperatures is cooler is always best, and making sure you're bringing plenty of water, taking breaks in the shade, and paying attention to your pet's behavior. I know people have to take their dogs off for party breaks or their schedules don't allow them to do that, but keeping it really short when it's really hot outside is ultimately better, and maybe you can change it up with mental stimulation inside your home instead of having to do those walks. But keeping any outdoor activity during extreme heat is important, and just keeping that limited outside.
That's really great advice. It saddens me when you are driving past somebody's home and you notice that the dog's been out for a while, or you're out walking and the dogs are left outside. Tell me what you should do, or if somebody is walking past and notices, or just notices maybe that the somebody has their dog outside for a long time. How should one approach that and to help the dog, and how does that relate to what Bradshaw Animal Shelter does for animals?
Right. So without water or shade, pets can become dehydrated and it can be dangerous being left outside. At minimum, pets should always have access to fresh water, shade, or a cool place. And then during extreme heats, it's safest to bring pets outdoors. So if you're noticing a pet appears to be in distress from the heat, contact local animal control or law enforcement right away. The sooner help can arrive, the better chance the animal has at staying safe.
Uh, Have you had a lot of experience with people calling you and saying, "Hey, I've noticed a dog in the neighborhood that's been outdoors for a long time." Is that something that you deal with as well?
Yeah, so we receive calls every summer about pets struggling in the heat, and the biggest lesson is that most of these situations are preventable. Again, providing water, shade, supervision, and never leaving your pets in hot environments can make all the difference. So really just using those critical thinking skills. If it's hot for you, it's going to be more hot for them. So deciding to leave your pet at home while you run errands so they're not stuck in a car. If it's especially we're hitting these 100-degree days outside, keeping your pet indoors, even if they're normally an outdoor pet, coming up with that space indoors that they can stay during the hot times. It's just really important to make those decisions for the livelihood of your animal and keeping them safe and protected. And then if you're noticing anything out in the neighborhood or you see a car trapped or a dog trapped in a car, calling animal control, calling local authorities, and having them let you know what they can do, what you can do, and getting them there to help will keep the animal the safest.
Let's talk about the hot cars for a second, because I know that animal shelters and rescue groups often, of course, educate people about that. But we're still seeing it. It still happens. Why do you think that still happens? And you also mentioned if we see this, call animal rescue or call 911, call something. Let's talk about the dangers of hot cars. And you say you have a dog and you're like, I got to run in the bank for a minute. Is it even worth it to just crack the window, not bring the dog? I mean, what do you recommend in that case?
Yeah, so parked car, I think people don't realize a parked car can become dangerously hot in just a few minutes. And even on like a 70, 80-degree day where you don't think it's that hot, the temperatures inside the vehicle can rise to deadly levels for you, for your dog, especially for children, all of that. And cracking the window isn't enough to keep your pet safe or humans for a matter of fact.
Yeah,
So if there is a time where you're running errands and you want to bring your dog along, I would just again use those critical thinking skills. It might be safer for you to keep your dog at home, keep them where they have a climate control area to stay safe in, and then just run those errands quickly and come back and play with your dog or hang out with your dog later on instead of trying to risk it.
right. Absolutely. And it's that case too where if you put the dog in the back seat, what is a good reminder to say, hey, or even kids, for example? I mean, this is just, it's so hard to talk about this, but it happens. What are some good reminders that people can do to remind them that, oh, I do have a dog or someone in the back seat?
Um, I mean, just always keeping that situational awareness of what you have with you. I mean, children and people. So, I know dogs kind of make themselves a little more aware with
Yeah,
noise or coming up to the front or whatever. So, just kind of keeping that situational awareness. I know things get busy and people get distracted, but
hmm,
really just trying to plan ahead. Don't allow yourself to be put in a situation. If you know you have to run errands and that you're going to be parked, look ahead at that. Look at the temperatures, look at the weather, make that decision. Oh, maybe it will be better to leave my kids with a babysitter, or maybe to leave my dogs at home. Kind of just looking ahead, preparing ahead, and just don't set yourself up for that situation.
right. Real quickly, let's talk about the Bradshaw Animal Shelter. If somebody's wanting to maybe adopt an animal, how can they do that?
Yeah, so we have tons of animals right now, and if you're looking to bring a cat, dog, bunny home as your forever family, come out to the shelter. We have lots of staff and volunteers who can help meet you, who can help provide you with the perfect animal that's going to be right for your family. Look at your housing conditions, what if you're ready to take on that big journey in life because it will
Yeah,
be a couple of years. Just kind of look all around, but we're happy to match you with your perfect fit and see you have a new family member.
perfect. Thank you so much, Brittany, for joining us today, and we look forward to talking with you in the future. Great advice.
Oh, thank you.
Riley, great work. I've
Yeah.
got two Siberian Huskies at home, and you'd think their fur makes them overheat, right? But it
Yeah.
actually insulates them, keeps them cool.
Yeah, it's surprised when they lay outside too, and they're like just basking in the sun. I'm
They
like, you guys
bake,
hot?
right? Yeah, they're fine.
But it's always a concern, I even when you're out and there's a animal in a car and the windows are just barely cracked.
Mm,
Something,
yeah, no, I don't feel right about
yeah.
that for sure. All right, Riley, thank you very much
Mhm.
for the educational interview. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. We'll hear from Genevieve. She takes us back to Green Acres for part two. Welcome back to Atmospheric Insight. Riley,
Mhm.
last week we talked about, planting and having green thumb. And
Yeah.
for me, it's like the really basic ones, cacti, stuff that it's like hard to kill
Yeah.
and is meant to thrive in some heat.
Right.
You have any plans to get any plants this summer?
I try to do a little gardening, that sort of thing, but I have a
Yeah.
ficus, a fig tree that is thriving out here.
Oh, very
Yeah,
good.
so
Is,
that's kind of where I stand.
is that direct sun?
Yes. I
Okay.
mean, I think when it gets over like 105 or something, I have to like put it in shade, but it's doing pretty good.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear from Genevieve. See if she has any more tips about plants in the heat.
We are back at Green Acres discussing how they prepare for changing weather conditions and help customers throughout the year. How closely does your team monitor the forecast?
We're constantly monitoring the weather. That is so important to us. Day to day, that kind of thing matters. Not only for us as people, because we're out in the open. Our nurseries are very much exposed to the elements. Our crew is constantly out there, but our plants, we're there for them as well. So if it's really hot, we might need to be watering those plants on the patio a little more, as well as watering ourselves a little more. So we're very conscious about the elements and making sure everyone's staying safe and that our plants are looking great and that our customers are going to be happy when they come in as well.
Are there certain weather events that immediately change customer demand?
The weather can definitely change what the customers are looking for. Sometimes we'll get a heat wave and you might get people rushing in to get something like a shade cloth to protect their plants. If there's a lot of rain, that might impact their decisions as well. Growing plants means that you're gonna need to be connected to the weather to be successful. So the more that we're connected and aware of what's going on, and the more that our customers are, the more successful we're gonna be year round.
How do you prepare inventory for Sacramento's changing seasons?
When the seasons change here, the nursery changes here. So we have sometimes completely different plants available depending on the season, because we don't want to give you that plant that's not going to do well at that time of year. So if you shop our stores in the spring, you'll see different plants than if you shop in the summer, fall, or winter. There's actually literally different kinds of plants available. Everything from like vegetables we put out in the spring, and that goes through our growing season. And then you get into the fall and the winter. You know, we actually sell Christmas trees in the winter too. So we're very seasonal, and we're always just trying to provide you what's best for that time of year.
Have you noticed changing weather patterns over the years, and does that affect what customers are looking for?
Absolutely. The trend seems to be that we have a warming planet, and here we're seeing hotter days and longer times of heat. So that matters so much to the plants that people want to grow. We're seeing trends of our customers are asking for more California native plants. And it's been incredible that we've actually been able to bring in more California natives for our customers who are asking for that. California natives aren't the only thing though. People are in general looking for more water-wise and heat-hardy plants. And we have increased our supply to make that available to our customers. And we even have areas of our nursery that are designated for low water use. We have a thing called locals, which actually classifies the plants in how much water they use. So you can come here, take a look at the sign and learn about the needs of that plant. And there's even a numbering system in locals that classifies that plant on a scale of how much water it needs. And these are all designed to help the customer be more successful, and these are things people are asking for, so we're happy to provide that for them.
Is there a particular weather event that had a major impact on your business?
Here in Sacramento, our weather actually is pretty wild. You know, our winters, we'll get some rain, but we need that rain. We like that stuff. We might get some wind, we might get some trees falling over, but that's okay, we can pick them up. Really, for the most part, we can handle any of the weather that comes through here because it's not that bad. Aside from the extreme high temps in the summer where we might need to be protecting and watering a little more, here we're pretty lucky. We can get through it.
Whether it's helping customers prepare for heat waves or choosing the right plants for Sacramento's climate, weather influences nearly every aspect of Green Acres business. A big thanks to Green Acres for having us out. Back to you guys.
Genevieve, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And if a tree falls, no worries.
Yeah, just pick it up.
We'll
We're
pick
good.
it up. What a great attitude there. So we've got some great tips on how to keep your pets and plants healthy in this heat. Unfortunately, looks like the end of the month, maybe beginning of July, we got a break from the heat too. All right.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we learned a lot this episode. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back here. We'll see you again next week.